I know I give a bit of a hard time to Discovery, but I don't have too much, at least, of an issue with the Crossfield class having holographic technology, nor really the Constitution class either. When we consider the reach and technological might of the United Federation of Planets, even at an early age during the 22nd and 23rd century, it makes sense that we would see the beginning of technologies such as holograms, holographic technology, and so forth. Also, in Discovery, the holographic chamber, that technology, does feel unrefined. It seems like a natural progenitor of what we see in a holodeck. So I'm always going to take a swipe at Discovery if I'm presented with the opportunity, but when you think about it, it's not really hard to imagine the advancements that occur during the 22nd and 23rd century, and it seems consistent with the progression of technology that we see. By the 24th century, most Starfleet vessels would have holodecks. There were certain exceptions to this, of course, like the Defiant class would be one of those ships not to have it. Because why the hell would you want a holodeck on a ship of war? I mean, all they would do is constantly train, and the ability to simulate any enemy you want in various environments wouldn't be something extremely useful for soldiers. Wait, what? Holographic technology became so prominent that the Prometheus class would have holo emitters installed on all decks. Something that, while it has never been confirmed in canon, would make a lot of sense if they did it on every vessel going forward. Again, it's never stated that this was on a Sovereign-class ship, but that would make a ton of sense, especially in the 23rd century, and it seems consistent with the progression of technology that we see. By the 24th century, most Starfleet vessels would have holodecks. There were certain exceptions to this, of course, like the Defiant class would be one of those ships not to have it. Because why the hell would you want a holodeck on a ship of war? I mean, all they would do is constantly train, and the ability to simulate any enemy you want in various environments wouldn't be something extremely useful for soldiers. Wait, what? Holographic technology became so prominent that the Prometheus class would have holo emitters installed on all decks. Something that, while it has never been confirmed in canon, would make a lot of sense if they did it on every vessel going forward. Again, it's never stated that this was on a Sovereign-class ship, but that would make a ton of sense, especially if you needed the emergency medical hologram. According to Memory Alpha, early versions of the holodeck in the 24th century consisted of a room equipped with a hologrid containing omnidirectional holographic diodes, enabling holographic projections and holograms. While this stays somewhat consistent throughout the series and into DS9 and Voyager, we do see some modifications that would enhance the holographic technology. When trying to parse out limitations of holotechnology, it can get a little dicey. The holodeck recreations could only exist where there were available holoprojectors. Holoprojections could not be maintained after leaving the safety of the system. Of course, how long it would take for a holoprojection to disappear would depend on what episode of TNG you were watching, if I'm being honest. The holodecks themselves would hold vast databases, allowing the projection of nearly anything that one would want. In fact, the holodeck was so powerful that it could recreate specific days and locations that occurred on Earth or other planets. And I'm not talking about huge historical events like the US Civil War. I'm just talking about some random day someone wanted to see. To be fair, it's likely that the day projected was an approximation and not the exact event. The computer would pull what information it could, was it a cloudy day, rainy day, sunny day, and what people it could confirm were there, then it just filled in the gaps. Additionally, the computer could access transporter records to recreate the physical parameters of people that had been on the ship, and then it would just make those people for you. Because screw any privacy, am I right? Holodecks also had what were called spatial orientation systems, which would allow them to simulate holo characters. These characters would have their own idiosyncrasies, including accents, being left or right-handed, and a myriad of other details. Additionally, a holodeck had a perceptual filter which prohibited characters within the program from recognizing anything odd about users that were in the program itself. As an example, a Starfleet officer walking into a 1950s bar in a Starfleet uniform would not have a holo character asking them about their communicator or other advanced technology. It would simply be ignored. In First Contact, when a Borg walked into a holodeck, the Borg would be told that there was a dress code, but the fact that the Borg was a pale monstrosity of machine and death was never recognized. A holo character asking them about their communicator or other advanced technology. It would simply be ignored. In First Contact, when a Borg walked into a holodeck, the Borg would be told that there was a dress code, but the fact that the Borg was a pale monstrosity of machine and death was never recognized. When activated, the holodeck walls would generate holographic images that appeared to extend for an unlimited distance, making the area seem much larger than it was. The user of the program would be able to move in any direction feasible that the program allowed. In early iterations of the holographic technology, when someone did something the computer could not compensate for, the illusion would be broken. As an example, in the next generation, we see a holographic rock thrown against the wall, causing it to ripple. However, in Deep Space Nine and Voyager, holographic advancements compensated when you would take a rock and throw it, or shoot a gun, or anything of that nature. Again, it would make it seem as if you were somewhere else, that you could go in almost any direction that you wanted to. Holographic technology became so advanced that it would be hard to tell if someone were in a holodeck or if they were not. Most holodecks are also equipped with safety protocols preventing serious injury to a person. These could be disengaged, of course, though depending on who and how they would be disengaged is up to the whims of the writer and the series that you're watching. At first, it would take 2 senior officers to disengage them, then just 1 officer, and then finally anyone who really wanted to. The holodeck program and what the holodeck did can be controlled either within the room through vocal commands, by accessing a panel within the room itself, immediately outside of the holodeck on another panel, or from either engineering or the bridge. So I'm going to take a moment to talk about something that, to my knowledge, is never directly stated but appears to be widely accepted by Trek fandom. It appears that while in the holodeck, when you're eating, you're drinking, or having snowball fights, the computer will replicate the needed items. So for example, when you order a brandy and a bar from the bar hop, it's likely the computer replicates the alcohol, otherwise you wouldn't be drinking anything at all. Given what we see of replicator technology, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that this is what occurs, though it does raise some interesting questions when we look at replicator technology itself. I'll also take a moment to address what I consider to be at least one inconsistency. In First Contact, Picard shoots a Borg in a hologram and states that even holographic bullets can kill. However, considering how holographic technology works, once the bullet began to pierce the skin, it would disappear. A bullet would not go into the body of a Borg or anything else that didn't have a holographic matrix inside of it. It's more likely that the computer simply replicated bullets and Picard was firing live ammunition. This doesn't mean that a holodeck still isn't dangerous, but we'll get into that a bit later. Holodeck technology became so powerful that it can replace entire organs that would be able to be used in lieu of the actual organ itself, though this is still extremely experimental and isn't a permanent fix. Holodecks even became so advanced that they can superimpose outfits onto individuals, or even make a person look completely different. And apparently it can remove limbs if the program called for it. Yeah, quantum, I guess? As I noted at the start, this was a request by a patron who is a counselor of the lore. He asked the basic question, holodecks, dangerous or not? The answer to this is easy. Holodecks are f***ing dangerous. Really, really f***ing dangerous. They are as dangerous as the death machine that is known as the transporter. In fact, a wondrous nightmare scenario occurs in Deep Space Nine where a transporter accident requires that some of the crew is sent to the holodeck and become a part of that program, and if they die in the program, they die in real life. And then, imagine if you remove all of the safeties and then the holodeck simulates space. A lot of people talk about how great it would be to be a part of the Trek universe, but when you look at all the things that can go wrong, no thank you. No thank you. Also, if I'm being honest, I find holodecks to be universe breaking. Think about it. With the holodeck, you can create near anything you would want. This would remove all kinds of requirements when it comes to space. I mean, ships would be much smaller than they are now. Additionally, if you install holoprojectors on all decks of the ships, you really remove the need for most crew. Why send ships into war with people when you can send holograms that can do the exact same job? If boarded by the enemy, well, that fix is really easy. Any deck that has an enemy require the holoprojectors to simulate the inside corona of the sun. Imagine how the Borg would have felt once they found themselves inside of a sun when boarding the Enterprise in First Contact, or the Vidians on Voyager. Additionally, holo addiction, like we see with Barclay, is very real. I don't think that we as humans in the real world could handle true holodeck technology right now. Guys, this is a pretty expansive topic, and I'm running late on getting the script done and produced anyway, so we're going to pause it here and maybe have a part 2. Let me know, what are your thoughts on the holodeck? Did I miss anything here that I should address in part 2? Is the holodeck something good? Something bad? What are your thoughts when it comes to the practical applications of a holodeck? Let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you would like to see the lore taken to the next level, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/lore reloaded. As always, this channel is made possible by fans like you. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.